Hi Algebra 2, it's Mrs. Langford. I'm going to take you through some notes of classifying and evaluating polynomials. This is concept 13. So a polynomial function can be a monomial, which means a single term expression, or a sum of monomials. So that would be multiple terms. So here's what it takes for that to be a polynomial. All of the exponents are whole numbers, so that does include 0, etc. The coefficients, which are the numbers in front of the variables, are all real numbers, which is basically about every number we work with. What we don't want are any imaginary numbers. But we can have lots of other things. We can have fractions, those are okay. You can have a irrational number. Those are all real numbers. So lots of things, negative numbers, those can be coefficients, but they just need to be real. With a polynomial, the largest exponent is what we deem the degree of the polynomial. Each term on its own is said to have a degree, just looking at the variable that's with it and the exponent. But altogether, a sum of those monomials making a polynomial has a degree altogether, and that's the degree of the largest exponent. And then a polynomial is said to be written in standard form if its terms are written in descending order of the exponents. Okay, and then there's some other classification as well. So I'm going to just briefly touch on this and come back to it. So for polynomials, you look at their degree to determine their type, and basically there is a standard form given here, an example. I think that what you'll find most useful in this column or in this table are these two columns at the beginning and then this last one. So if we have a degree of 0, then we will have a constant polynomial. So the example, if we were to put a variable term in there, we would put it to the 0 power, and then that is 1. For a linear, that is a degree 1, quadratic is degree 2, cubic is degree 3, quartic is degree 4, and then anything that's over degree 4, we just dub a polynomial. So you will want to commit those degrees and types to memory. Also, we talk about classifying a polynomial based on how many terms it has. So if it has a single term, it's a monomial. If it has 2 terms, it's a binomial. 3 terms, it's a trinomial. 4 terms, it's a polynomial. 4 terms and greater. We just call it a polynomial. Coming back to the types, there are other names for degree 5, degree 6, but we just don't work with those a lot, so we're not going to give those specific names, so we're just going to refer in general to them if they come up every now and then as a polynomial. So now let's do a little classifying. So we're going to first decide whether the polynomial is a function, and if it is, we're going to write it in standard form and then tell its degree, type, and leading coefficient. So with A, we have f of x equals negative 2x to the 3rd power plus 5x plus 8. So I'm looking at the exponents, and all of the powers of the exponents are whole numbers, and now I'm looking at the coefficients, and those are all real numbers. So yes, this is a polynomial. And now I'm going to look at the exponents to make sure that they are in descending order. So I see to the 3rd power, to the 1st power, and then if we were to write this variable term, it's to the 0 power. So it is in standard form. Now I'm going to look at the highest exponent term, which is to the 3rd power. So its degree, I'm just going to use little d here, is 3. And its type is a cubic function. Then I'm going to look at the coefficient that's in front of that variable term. So the leading coefficient, I'm just going to call that the LC, is negative 2. Now we could say the degree of each of the terms in this trinomial. It would be a trinomial. So for example, the second term would be degree 1, the third term would be degree 0. But we can also give the entire polynomial a degree, and that's just the highest exponent that you see. All right, let's look at B. So we've got negative 8/10 x cubed plus the square root of 2x to the 4th minus 12. So all of our exponents are whole numbers, and our coefficients are real. They're kind of ugly, but they are real numbers. So yes, this is a polynomial, but it is not in standard form, so we need to rewrite it. So we're going to start with that highest exponent term and put that first. The sign in front goes with it, so the square root of 2x to the 4th minus 8/10 x cubed minus 12. So now we can easily see that this is degree 4, which is a quartic, if you remember, and the leading coefficient is the positive square root of 2. C, I'm looking at these exponents and I see that I have a -1, which is not a whole number, so this is not a polynomial. So I'm going to move on to the last question. K of x, x squared plus 3 to the x. X is not a whole number, so this also is not a polynomial. Now we're going to use this classification and picking out the degree and leading coefficient later on in a few concepts to help us graph. So this is not just busy work that we're doing. We're just learning the characteristics of the polynomials, so that can help us really get to know what's happening with the functions and solve them and graph them. Look at example 2. Now we're going to evaluate this polynomial by direct substitution. So give yourself a little test. Is this in standard form? Yes, it is. You're right. What degree and type is it? If you said degree 3 and cubic, you are correct. And the leading coefficient? Yes, it is -3. So when we evaluate using direct substitution, we just plug in the value that's requested, and so this says let x equal 2. So f of 2, and that's just function notation, so telling ourselves what we are plugging in. So we'll take -3 times 2 cubed plus 2 squared minus 12 times 2 minus 5. Keying it in your calculator is all at once is a good way to reduce errors. You can also, with the easy ones, of course, do the mental math. So 2 cubed is 8 times -3 is -24 plus 2 squared, which is 4, minus 12, which is -24, minus 5 more. So we'll have a -24 plus 4, which is a -20, minus 24 more is -44, minus 5 more is a -49. So our final answer would be f of 2 equals -49. Now I'm going to teach you a different way of substituting in a value, substituting in a value. This is called synthetic substitution, and this was developed by mathematicians who went before us who recognized a pattern with the coefficients. So I've included the steps on how to do this. It's going to seem strange at first, but it's a very clever method, and we actually use it for a couple different purposes later on in the unit. So the first thing we're going to do is write the coefficients of the polynomial in order of descending exponents. So, and I'm going to make this little graphic organizer. It looks like an upside down long division sign. So my first term, it's in standard form, so I look at that, and is x to the 4th with the coefficient of 2. And then my next, I'm looking for an x to the 3rd power term, coefficient's -5. There's no x squared term, so I need to put a 0 placeholder for that coefficient. And then x to the 1st, that coefficient is -4, 8. And then you put the value that you are plugging in out to the left-hand side. Then this is the way the method goes. You're going to bring down that leading coefficient, put it underneath your little organizer. Then you're going to multiply that value that you're plugging in times the leading coefficient. You're going to put it up under the next term, so that would be 6. And then you're going to add here in the vertical, so -5 plus 6 is 1. Then we're going to multiply diagonally, so 3 times 1 is 3, and that goes up here, and then we're going to add on the vertical. Then we're going to multiply, so I'm not going to, well, I'll draw one more of these little lines. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then I'm adding on the vertical, so that'll give me 5, and then finally, well, let's just keep going. There we go. 3 times 5 is 15, 8, and then I'm adding, plus 15 is 23. And then this is the value of the function if you plug in 3. So f of 3 equals 23. It's always the last term. It's also called the remainder. So that's the way the method goes. We're going to try this again a couple more times. Alright, let's look at example 4 and use that synthetic substitution. So we're plugging in 4 into this cubic polynomial. So I'll start with my coefficient of the x cubed term, which is 1. X squared is negative 5. 6 is the coefficient for just x, and then 1. So I'm going to bring down my leading coefficient that I'm multiplying on the diagonal, putting it up underneath, and then I'm going to add on the vertical, so it'll be negative 1. I'm going to multiply, and then add on the vertical, multiply, and add on the vertical. So when I plug in, oh, this is a g function, so g of 4 equals 9. And I think we might have one more. Oh, we've got this now. So the examples that were in between, those were just repeats. Thought I was putting in some extra practice, but they're repeats, so we're not going to do them again. So now we've got a real life situation. So the weight of an ideal round cut diamond can be modeled with this function, where W is the weight of the diamond in carats, and then D is the diameter in millimeters. So according to the model, what is the weight of a diamond with a diameter of 12 millimeters? So here, we'll just use direct substitution, and we'll plug in the 12 for that diameter. And then we'll round to tenths place. So 12 cubed, and then 12 squared. And then after you get it plugged in, and I do, pause your video and put that on your calculator. Okay, so pause it, work that, and then come back. Alright, we're back, and then 2 tenths place, we've got a diamond that is 8.5 carats. Alright, you are ready to do your practice now in Math Excel, Concept 13.